Welcome back, shop rats. Today, we're going to talk about the practical value of owning driver quality classic cars. Let's just watch a show intro. I'll see you in about 30 seconds. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem-solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Cars Shop.
One of the funny parts of my life is I don't actually know how many cars I own. I've tried counting a few times, and I always miss one or think I still have one that I sold or whatever, but I'm going to use the number 16, which is around 10 or 11 classic cars around the property, and then 4, 5, 7, I don't know, driver quality or driver cars. I mean, we have a bunch. We have my 2012 pickup, we have a bunch of Mini Coopers, stuff like that. But the irony and the point of today's episode is there are times that even with that many cars, I don't have something to drive. It's kind of a conundrum once in a while, and you would think owning that many cars, I would always have something to drive. Well, I do, as you can tell. I'm actually at work right now, and my company does own a few vehicles, but they're all in use, and one of them is broke down, and my truck is full of cow poo right now for a project that Becky's doing in the garden. And well, I needed to make a road trip today to service a customer about 40 dirty miles away. Woohoo! About 40 miles away, and I don't have a car. So here we are driving scoops today, and I think that's something maybe a little bit less talked about. Most of the time when I drive one of these classic cars, it's because I want to and because it's fun, and I don't generally trust them for service calls and things like that. But today I had a couple of choices, but I felt this was the best choice. Becky was definitely willing to take scoops to work today, but she hasn't driven it before, and I didn't feel that was the best choice. I've been working hard to get the car in a condition that she can drive it, and it's close, but there's a few things like the seat doesn't move easily for her, and the automatic choke still isn't hooked up, which I have, and I just haven't taken time to do, and well, just things. So I decided that it was probably best that I drove scoops to do these service calls. Now, this isn't the only service call I have to make today. I have several, and I'll be making a circuit of a couple hundred miles today, and I don't generally like putting those miles on a classic car. I mean, this car only has 51,200 miles on it. But all things considered, I could have drove the truck with a load of cow manure, but I didn't think that was probably the best choice, and we'll just leave it at that. But I do think that is an upside to having some of these old classics that are driver quality. Scoops is certainly not a show quality car, and that's perfectly fine, because that's the way I like it. Because if it gets a door ding or a paint chip or whatever happens, and I don't really care, because driver quality. Will I throw a nice paint job on this someday? Probably. Will that someday be anytime in the next 10 years? No, probably not. We've got, little things going on with it. It's got some bubbling going on under the vinyl, so it needs a new top, and we've got some tearing in the upholstery, and well, there's some rust spots on the car, and there's a couple spots where the primer is cracked and paint flakes off here and there, but again, it's a driver, so who cares? I just enjoy the car for what it is, and especially on a day like today when I wish the air conditioning was working, because it's rather muggy, but still, on a day like today when you don't have a lot of choices, it's nice to have something like this that you can drive. I mean, let's face it, it's fun driving an old classic car that's fairly dependable and certainly has a lot of horsepower. And well, you kind of got to plan ahead a little bit with a few coolant and liquids and transmission fluids and stuff like that. But that is the upside. Is it's always a vehicle that you can fall back on. Now, I would say that the Pro Street GTS is probably not a good vehicle to fall back on because it gets like 4 miles to the gallon on racing fuel, which last time I checked was $14 a gallon for 104 octane. That's not real practical, but still, it's there in case of an emergency. Back in the day with my business, because I'm a car guy and because it was fun, I was actually driving my real rusty 74 Swinger, which some of you have seen that I still have and is in process of getting quarter panels and fenders and doors and, a little spruce up. And I've got a 318 to put in that as well. But I was driving that, and it was the old sheet metal. It was rusty, and it was, it was really bad looking. And I would fall under fire for driving that car by some customers, especially dealerships. What the heck? If anybody should get it, they should. Because I was driving such an old rusty bomb, and is your business really doing that bad? And blah, 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 blah. And I was a little cheesed about it, but I thought, you people work in the car industry and you don't get driving a 40-year-old car. What is wrong with you? But I kept my mouth, which is a miracle for me, and decided to go ahead and buy a 2004 pickup at that time, and that was my business vehicle for many years. Now it's my plow truck. But so you do have to kind of think about the context of what you're doing. Now, Scoops is a very respectable looking car that always gets thumbs up and people really like it, and inevitably I end up getting conversation going with somebody somewhere about the car, and well, that's fun. But the real diehards on the channel get it that I enjoy driver quality cars, and I'm not really that keen on making show quality cars that are completely impractical and that I can't drive. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have some. The 47 Ford is definitely a show quality car, but would I drive that in a situation like this? Absolutely. I'm not afraid for them to get dinged up, and I'm not afraid to have to fix them up again if they get dinged up. The Challenger is I get a lot of crap, obviously, as you guys know, about the way I'm building that car, but I intend for that car to be fun. One of the things that I have with my buddy Dave that I got the car from was he's also free to come and take the car and enjoy the car and use the car, because I have 11 collector cars in the garage and I can't drive them all, and somebody might as well be using them, and I trust him. He's a good guy, and why shouldn't I, as part of the whole deal of him helping me get that car and so forth, allow him to come and drive it. Now, do I expect he's going to be coming and getting it every day to drive it? Of course not. Well, for one thing, he lives 35 miles away from me, but I really expect that he and his wife will come and take that car, or he and one of his kids, and they'll go and enjoy that car and have fun with it. And if stone chip or whatever happens, who cares? We'll fix it. It's not a big deal. It's just a car, and I think that plays into all of this is if your cars are so pristine that you can't enjoy them, well, why do you have them? I mean, if you enjoy them being pristine and being trailer queens, then that's fine. No judgment here. But for some of the rest of us, we want to burn the crap out of these things and have fun with them. So that is something to keep in mind as you're building your car is, hey, it's a failover. It's a fail-safe. When you got nothing else to drive, even if you have 16, 17, I don't know, cars, you always got something there that you can probably throw some gas in and take it and use it for what you need and enjoy it, even though you're stuck here at an intersection waiting for all this stupid traffic. Man, this thing gets with the program. Woohoo! Hit a little wet spot on the road, and the old back end was just a fishtailing. This little old 318 sure makes a crap ton of power. Fun car. So anyway, all that to say, think about it, and think about, can you use what you're building for a practical purpose? Like, your cars are broke down and you need something to drive, or whatever. It's just something to consider. And also, it can kind of help you justify having them around, because sometimes family members don't always get it. And I'm very blessed that in my home it's understood, but not everybody has that. So I'm pulling for you. You know, we're all in this together, and we got to give each other little bits and pieces of things that can help us smooth things over and make things better. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Drop your comments down there. How do you use your vehicle? Do you have failovers like this that you can use, even though it's a classic, that you don't mind just ripping up and down the road with it and using it for a practical daily use if you need to? We're on the Face thing. We're on Instagram /My Car Shop. We're on the You thing here. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell so you receive those notifications. And one more thing, don't forget, it's important. Rock!